All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, and of course, just another video coming up, and now that I think every single vacant head coaching spot has been filled, I think it's appropriate we kind of look at, how we got to the point. I think it was like 7 or 8 teams that needed new coaches, who they hired, who they had to let go to get to the point of getting hired or fired. We'll also take a quick look at the GMs, and so this is kind of like a breakdown of all the coaching and front office moves. As you can see here, it starts off with the guys who were fired, and then we'll go over like the step down guys and that stuff. Really, we'll not be providing like our in-depth thoughts on everybody because there's quite a few moves to go over. But what we'll be doing is be kind of like, oh, that was a good move to fire those people, or hire that person. That kind of insight to the hiring. So looking at the Panthers, they fired special teams coordinator and offensive coordinator. They have Chase Blackburn and Joe Brady. Yeah, and I think Joe Brady was just hired as the Bills quarterbacks coach. Well, so kind of a rough one for Joe Brady. I think there was that weird fallout situation that didn't really work out, and I don't really know who that is. So the Bears finally let go of Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, their head coach and GM. I mean, Nagy did have a 34-31 record, but things were going pretty south pretty fast. Chicago went 48-65 with Nagy as a GM, so that was long overdue. I guess they do leave the next people in good hands with Justin Fields, so we'll see how that plays out. And they do have a good trade chip in Khalil Mack if they want to accelerate any kind of rebuild with the new regime. We'll see how they approach that. The Denver Broncos, of course, fired Vic Fangio. He went 19-30 with the Denver Broncos. Just wasn't the right guy. I mean, he's a good coach. He's a good defensive coach, but I mean, ultimately his offense just really wasn't. He couldn't get the other side of the ball going at any point. They could not find a quarterback. If you stop me if you've heard that about the Broncos before, post Peyton Manning. The Houston Texans, of course, fired David Culley after his first season. With who they hired and like the reasons they gave, they said they wanted to get like a long-term coach, and now everyone was assuming younger, and they went with a guy actually a year older. So it was kind of weird. So I mean, he's gone after one season. Kind of hard to figure it out. Another guy gone after one season was the Jacksonville Jaguars' Urban Meyer. He was fired after a 2-11 start. It did not go well. It was always a rocky situation in Jacksonville with Urban Meyer, whether it be the weird video of him at a steakhouse or whatever that place was, or just internal issues with the staff and calling people losers, and it was an ugly scene in Jacksonville. So Urban Meyer was let go. The Raiders, of course, fired Mike Mayock. After the season ended, they went, "Hey man, it's time for you to go." You were kind of tied to the hip with Gruden. That was kind of your regime. Things weren't working. They did make the playoffs, but they lost in the wild card, and they 25-24. I would imagine Mayock's probably just going to go back to TV. The Chargers let go of their special teams coordinator, Darius Swinton II. All right. The Miami Dolphins, the surprise move I thought was this was the surprise move to me of the offseason, was the Miami Dolphins firing Brian Flores. He went 24-25 despite being in a complete rebuild, like on all 3 facets of the ball. So, they didn't make the playoffs once, but they went 9-8 and 10-6, and so that's a good back-to-back winning seasons. And they went 3-1 against the Patriots. But I guess that wasn't enough for the Dolphins, so they wanted to move on. Kind of a weird decision there. The Vikings made major changes, letting go of head coach Mike Zimmer and GM Rick Spielman. Zimmer had the 7th longest coaching tenure among the NFL's 32 clubs, and he went 72-56-1. Spielman's been the GM for a while, since 2012. Sheesh. But yeah, for Zimmer, he did pretty good, it looks like. But I think what happened with Zimmer was the game kind of started to progress and pass him by, where like if this was 10 years ago, he'd still be a good head coach, but it just seems like the game has passed him by in the last couple years here. And that's, it is what it is. That happens sometimes. And I guess they just wanted a culture change with Rick Spielman. I don't know if that was a good move. Obviously, the Giants fired Jason Garrett during the season, and then they fired Joe Judge after the season. Things didn't go very well for Joe Judge. It kind of seemed like the fans were done with him. And, they just, another Belichick disciple who didn't do too well. Yeesh. Seahawks let go of defensive coordinator Ken Norton, probably a good move. Stepped down with Sean Payton. He stepped down from the Saints. He went 152-89 with the 1 Super Bowl and a Coach of the Year. He had a great, 15 years. If that was the end of his career, he's a borderline Hall of Fame head coach. He'll probably get in. Yeah, we'll see what he does. He's at least taking a year off. He could come back after next season once he, deals with some health issues or whatever else he's got going on. Kevin Colbert of the Steelers, the general manager, stepped down. He's been in charge since like 2000. He won 2 Super Bowls, went to 3, went 225, 124, and 3. If that's the end of his career, he's staying with the club in a reduced role. Okay, so he's stepping down from the general manager role and going into a different role. Well, hopefully everything works out well for him. Parting ways, these are just, things didn't work out. They wanted to pursue other options. The Lions parted ways with offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn. It just wasn't a fit, and sometimes that happens. Longtime defensive coordinator Don Wink Martindale decided to take off from the Ravens. He'd been with them for a while. That was kind of a weird decision there. I'm not really sure what happened. Obviously, John Gruden had to resign over the emails that kind of got leaked out on him, and we all know that. We'll see how that lawsuit plays out. Retired. Dave Gettleman retired from the Giants. However you want to look at this. Pittsburgh Steelers defensive coordinator Keith Butler. 20 seasons, Jesus. Well, good for him. It sounds like he's been there a little while. All right, let's go back to the top. Those are everybody who, is no longer involved with the team they were at the start of the season or in the middle of the season. And those are all the guys who resigned, fired, stepped down, just for whatever reason are no longer involved. These are the teams that, and now we'll look at the guys who replaced them. Coaching/GM hires. We'll look at that, and then we'll just do what we did there and, give our light thoughts. And all right, anyway, the Ravens have replaced Don Wink Martindale with Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald as their new offensive coordinator. Macdonald has been part of the coaching staff from 2014 to 2020 before spending 2021 as the University of Michigan defensive coordinator. So basically, he was a University of Michigan D coordinator. It sounds like he was part of the Ravens coaching staff for a while. And then then the job opened. Hold on. And then the job opened up, so now he's back with the team and as the new defensive coordinator. So good for him. Let's see how he does. It's a big job in Baltimore is to be the D coordinator. Probably not easy. I think they also hired. I don't think they're going to put quarterback coaches, but I'm pretty sure Joe Brady was also hired by the Bills. So they promoted Ken Dorsey from. I think he was the quarterback coach. Where was he at? Ken Dorsey. Dorsey has served as Buffalo's quarterback coach for the previous 3 seasons. So basically, yeah, the guy, he went from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator, with Dabble going to the to the Giants. So they lost their offensive coordinator, but now they gain Ken Dorsey. Oh, a blast from the past if you're a Giants fan. The Carolina Panthers have hired their offensive coordinator and their special teams coordinator. They hired Ben McAdoo and Chris Tabor for special teams. McAdoo, a former head coach and offensive coordinator of the Giants, succeeds interim offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon. Carolina hired Chris Tabor as the team's new special coordinator. Tabor was previously the Bears special teams coach for 4 years, following 7 seasons in the same capacity with the Browns. So sounds like he's just kind of a special teams guy. We'll see how he does with Carolina, and we'll see how Ben does as just an offensive coordinator and not the head coach. We'll see. All right, wow. The Bears hired a whole new everything. Obviously, when you bring in a new GM, a new head coach, they're probably going to go get the guys they want to bring in, the guys that they like, the guys that that they want in their staff. Not, it sucks if you don't get held over, but I mean, it's pretty common in the NFL. So basically, they went with Ryan Poles as their new GM. They went with Matt Eberflus from the Colts as their new head coach. They got Luke Getsy as the offensive coordinator, Alan Williams as the defensive coordinator, and Richard Hightower as the new special teams coordinator. Pace, or hold on. Poles was previously the Kansas City Chiefs executive director of player personnel. The Bears hired Packers quarterback coach, passing game coordinator Luke Getsy as the offensive coordinator. Colts defensive back / safeties coach Alan Williams as defensive coordinator, and 49 teams coordinator as 49 special teams coordinator as Richard Hightower as the same role. So they filled out their new coaching staff, and we'll see how it plays out. I'm sure Bears fans are just hoping it's something better than the Nagy and Pace era. For the Denver Broncos, it seems like they got their new guy. It's going to be Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach. I believe that was the Packers offensive coordinator, right? Yeah. Okay. Yep. So good for them. We'll see how he plays. He was working with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, so we don't know how good he's going to be without a potential Hall of Fame quarterback and a really good head coach. So we'll see how he does. Justin Otten. I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, sorry if there's a weird cut in this. I had to, whatever. I had to blow my nose. There's shit in there. All right, 12:08. All right. Let's see. All right, back to the stuff there. Sorry about that. I had to get up for a second. Sorry if there's an awkward cut in that. But the club announced on February 2nd it hired Justin Otten. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He's the Packers tight ends coach. So he comes over along with Hackett. So we'll see how they do. Ben Johnson for the Detroit Lions is the new offensive coordinator. Detroit promoted tight ends coach Ben Johnson. Okay. Member of the organization since 2019. Johnson was heavily involved after first-year head coach took over. All right, so we'll see how he does. Sounds like they're just keeping it within the team and promoting within. So to replace the fact that they lost a couple people, the Packers have hired Adam Stanovich as their new offensive coordinator, and former Raiders interim head coach Rich Bisaccia as their special teams guy. Good hire there. It was their offensive line run game coordinator. He was promoted to offensive coordinator, so good for him. He got a promotion. That's always cool to see. That's probably the best move is to promote within. Of course, the Houston Texans hired Lovie Smith yesterday/today, introduced him. So we'll see how Lovie Smith does. I believe this is kind of like a promotion of sorts for Lovie Smith, because it says he spent the 2021 season as the Texans' associate head coach and defensive coordinator. So it sounds like he just got promoted anyway. So good for him. Let's see if he can keep it moving there in Houston. Gus Bradley, an old name from the past. Remember him? He was the Jaguars' old head coach. The Colts are bringing in Gus Bradley as the defensive coordinator. Pretty good move. I don't know. That's not bad. Gus Bradley, I believe if I'm thinking of the right guy, he's a pretty good coach for the Jags. Not terrible. All right, for the Jacksonville Jaguars now, we've got Doug Peterson, head coach. He's their new head coach. Probably a pretty good, I would say that's a really good hire. He did take the Eagles to win a Super Bowl. He didn't coach last year with 42-37-1. They kind of had that weird ending with him in the front office over, I believe, Carson Wentz. There was a weird situation with Philly. I don't know what happened. I don't know. If anybody can bring about change, it'll probably be Doug Peterson to a team that needs some kind of direction after fucking Urban Meyer. All right, the Raiders. They've announced their new team so far. To replace Gruden and Mayock, they go with Dave Ziegler as the general manager and Josh McDaniels as the head coach, and Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator. So basically, they went with the Patriots combination of Ziegler, who was the kind of de facto GM. I don't really know what Ziegler's job was, but it was like a GM-ish kind of role. And now he's the GM officially of the Raiders, and Josh McDaniels is their head coach. We'll see how they do. Maybe, hopefully, it's a lot better than Josh's first time as a head coach, because that was a pretty bad affair the first time. The Los Angeles Chargers hired Ryan Ficken as their special teams coordinator. I guess we'll see how he does. Ficken spent 15 seasons with the Vikings. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you want to take on a Viking special teams guy. The Dolphins have hired their new head coach. It'll be Mike McDaniel, formerly the 49ers offensive coordinator. I don't know. I would say he's a pretty solid hire. We'll see how he does. He's kind of got, he's fun to talk about. He looks kind of unique for a biracial person, but, very, very, very white looking. But we'll see how he does. I don't know. The looks don't mean anything. I just think it's funny. The whole thing around him is hilarious. But he seems to be a pretty smart offensive mind. He's very good with the run, and we'll see how he does with Miami. I'm sure he'll be able to get the most out of Tua. We'll see. I don't know how much there is in Tua. So the Minnesota Vikings have gone with their new general manager and their new head coach. I can't say the guy. Mensa is the last name. Adolfo Mensa. And they also hired the Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell as their next head coach. I just don't want to butcher this guy's Kwesi Adolfo Mensa. Adolfo Mensa was previously the Browns vice president of football operations. So that's pretty good for him. Let's see how he does. Both these guys get a pretty loaded team, in all honesty. The Saints went with Dennis Allen as the new head coach. He was the Saints defensive coordinator for the past 7 seasons. So he wasn't a good, I think he coached, it says here, for the Raiders. He wasn't too good, but we'll see what he's learned under Sean Payton, if there's been any improvement. I don't know. So good for him. The Giants have made their decisions, and they brought in quite a few names here. Oh, look at that. It's it's Don Week Martindale. Mike Kafka is going to be their offensive coordinator. Don Martindale is going to be their defensive coordinator. Joe Schoen, I think that's how you say it, is the new general manager. And Brian Dabble, of course, he was formerly the Bills offensive coordinator and a very hot, it was a very big hire for them. Will be the head coach. He was okay. So Joe Schoen was also the Bills' assistant general manager. Chiefs quarterback coach Mike Kafka is going to be the offensive coordinator, and obviously the Ravens' former defensive coordinator as their new DC. Terrell Austin has been announced as the Steelers' new defensive coordinator. That's pretty cool. We'll see how he does. He was. It looks like he's getting promoted almost a cent. He was previously Pittsburgh's senior defensive assistant and secondaries coach. So it sounds like he's getting a little bit of a promotion. And then we have Anthony Lynn, who was hired as the assistant head coach of the 49ers. It sounds like he's going to also help out with the offense a little bit. So yeah, that's all the teams that needed head coaches, I believe, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much everybody. It's pretty much all for the video. We just kind of wanted to give you an idea of the teams that needed to hire new coaches and who they hired, and kind of where they came from and our brief thoughts if it was good or not. So let me know. I guess let me know what you think down below. Who do you think made the best hire? Who made the worst hire? Who made the most puzzling hire for you? To me, the best hire was probably Brian Dabble. Worst hire, I don't know yet. That one's always really hard to tell because you never really can tell how a coach is going to go. The weirdest hire for me feels like Lovie Smith, especially since the Casario said he wanted to go with a long-term coach. Maybe I don't know. We'll see what the Texans are up to. Maybe they see Pep Hamilton as the long-term head coach, and they're gonna start grooming him under Lovie for a couple years and then make him the guy. But I don't know. Maybe. Let me know what you think down below. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, all that YouTube jazz. But yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you so much for listening. And this was the NFL coaching tracking video, I guess. I don't really know a title quite yet. All right. Again, sorry about the weird delay. I don't even think I'm going to edit that out. I'm going to just leave it in. All right. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whenever you listen to this. Thanks for listening regardless. Peace out.